Hi everyone, welcome to Cavalry, man. And one of the things me and Julie like to do together is cook. I mean, it looks, I like
We
to,
both have.
I like to eat. So I had a little craving. I told Julie the other day, something we haven't had in a while, and it's jambalaya. So Julie went online and found on her Facebook page, somebody posted a video of how to make jambalaya
In the crock pot. So
in the crock pot. We're changing it. We're going to be doing it on the stove instead of in a crock pot. But that was kind of hot.
Well, I'm cooking.
Yeah, we're cooking. But it's pretty much just the same. If you've never had jambalaya, it is a kind of spicy food. You can make it as spicy as you want. You can make it like fire or house red.
He likes spicy. I do not. So we go in between, and then he just adds more to his.
Right. So what's in it is we have chicken. This is chicken tenderloin. We have celery. We have diced tomatoes.
Onion.
We have white onion. Andouille sausage.
The shrimp are later.
Yeah, we have shrimp. We have red peppers. And it's not focused. There it is.
Red peppers.
Red peppers. And then we have chicken broth. So,
which all goes over after it's cooked and everything will be served over rice.
right, and Julie just threw in the pot some olive oil. This thing is not focusing well.
Okay, so you're going to want to chop this up in little bits.
Yep.
On here.
Okay. So you're gonna have to excuse. I noticed that the camera is not focusing right. You're gonna have to
Deal with us.
deal with us. You're also gonna have to forgive that some of the time our back is gonna be to you because this is a very small kitchen.
Itty bitty tiny.
So we only have a small area to work with. So please,
Bear with us.
bear with us. So you take your chicken and you cut it really bite-sized pieces. Cooking is not rocket science. Anybody can cook. It doesn't matter who you are. Focus. Come on, focus. There
Follow
you go.
instructions. That's all
Just
it is.
just follow instructions.
And it's ad lib, really. If you don't like something, take it out, put something else in. Ultimately, it's to your taste. Obviously, if you're feeding a crowd, you got to be considerate of others as well. But I'm gonna turn this down just a smidge.
Yeah, because she's smoking.
She's smoking. Let's just turn it off for a few minutes until you're ready.
Yeah. Which I'll be ready here in a bit.
Yeah, I got your.
So, we also have spices we have to add to this. We have cayenne pepper. We have Cajun seasoning. We have oregano, and we have thyme.
Yeah.
So all that also will go in with the meat and everything else.
Keith and I like to cook together and like to experiment. We still plan out our menus for the week, for the most part. There are sometimes we kind of slough off, but for the most part, we plan out our menu so we don't have the argument, well, what do you want for dinner? I don't know. What do you want for dinner? I don't know. Well, let's go out. We don't end up having that argument because we normally plan it out. And because Keith works third shift, by the time I get home from work, he's just getting up. He's hungry. So he'll have at least started, if not have dinner completely ready by the time I get home because he's starting his day. Okay. No, I turned it down a little bit.
So we got to cook the chicken before we add anything else to it. So just throwing in all that chicken.
And we're going to swap out to the wooden cutting board for our vegetables. He's going to wash his hands. And I will give this a stir. Keith gives me a little grief on my shows, but I'm a foodie. I love to watch the cooking shows. Part of my thing I like to do. home improvement, cooking. Not really his thing.
Okay.
Onion first.
Onion first?
Because we need to cook up a little bit. And I cut it in half to make it easier for you.
Okay.
So if you cut it like this, not all the way down to the end, and then do like maybe one slice this way. I sharpened both of those for you.
Yeah, just
Like do like 2 slices down and then set it down and do a whole bunch this way, and then turn it and do a whole bunch this way. The core will hold it together for you. Be careful not to cut yourself.
Yeah.
You want me to do it?
No.
Just do that a bit more. There you go. And then do one more. It's kind of like having a backseat driver when I'm around.
Oops, I just cut that right off.
That's all right. Just hold it together when you're cutting. If you scooch to the left a little bit, I'll get you the scooper.
Scooper.
There's the scooper. You want me to move the celery out of the way so you can scooch up farther? And throw it in the sink because the disposal will eat it. Okay. Throw it in there.
Yep.
Same thing with that one. Or do it the way you want to do it, it's fine. Yep, there you go. And if your hands, not that you will be able to know, but if your hands smell like onion when you're done cutting, squeeze a little bit of yellow mustard onto your hands and act like you're washing your hands with mustard. Then rinse them, and then wash them with soap. There's something in the mustard that neutralizes the smell of the onion, and then when you wash your hands with the soap, it gets rid of the mustard smell. Old wives' tale. Thank you, Grandma. Anything you don't want, toss it in the sink. You want this core under there?
There, corn there? Oh, yeah. Jump this up a little bit.
While you're doing that, I'll grab the can opener to open the tomatoes because I can toss those in. When you cut these up, I would just shut it down the center and then line them all up and then chop, chop, chop.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
That's what I would do. But feel free to do it however you. As long as the outcome is the same, that's all that matters. As long as they're chopped. I'm adding a can of diced tomatoes. I buy them petite diced because as a child, my mom used to, whenever the recipe called for canned tomatoes, she'd have the big whole tomatoes and then she would just squish them with her hands so you'd end up with these great big huge chunks of tomatoes. Which, don't get me wrong, I like tomatoes. Love tomatoes. But when you're eating goulash or this type of thing or anything that has diced tomatoes in it as a recipe, sometimes you don't want a big old mouthful of
Tomato.
And Cody's coming for dinner today. He's not a huge tomato fan, but if they're little, he'll eat them. Keith, he'll eat them when they're little. Keith will pretty much eat anything you give him, for the most part. Yes, dear?
Yes.
Yes.
If I throw it out, doesn't matter what it is,
It was awful.
it's gross. You will not want to eat it.
Because we have a pretty strict 3-day rule here. If it was cooked or prepared or purchased prepared, you only have 3 days to eat it. And if after 3 days, whether there's a whole pan full or only a serving, it's in the garbage. Because we don't want that food poisoning business. That is not for us. We're also having strawberry shortcake later tonight. So I'll be making up some, cleaning and cutting up strawberries later. I guess we could use the frozen ones we have in the freezer.
Yeah.
Look, it's still good. You want to? I think we will, and then we'll save the fresh ones for eating. We got a huge. Those are mixed berries. They're not fresh berries. I have to use the fresh. Okay. I'm going to turn this up a little more now that it has more in there other than just the oil and the chicken. And we need, if you could hand me 1 can of, or 1 box of the chicken broth. I'll throw that in there so it has a little juice to move around in. I'm not brand specific, but I really do prefer, sometimes you get what you pay for. Just put it that way. I won't cover, I'll cover up the, here we'll cover the name. We did buy a backup broth just in case it gets too thick and we need something to thin it out a little bit.
Some people, when they make jambalaya, they put the rice in with the meat and the veggies and all that stuff. But in this recipe, it calls that you just put the meat and the broth and stuff on top of the rice. So
serve it as a topping to it.
Yeah, it's not. You can have it either way. We've had it either way. We like it either way. It doesn't matter. Whatever you feel comfortable, whatever you like, it's up to you.
We decided to try it this way because normally anything with rice or noodles will absorb any broth or juice or sauce that you may have in there. And yes, I'm crushing the herbs as I'm putting them in there because that's supposed to, if you're not going to like warm them up, if you crush them, it wakes them back up from being in the dried state. So, it's supposed to wake up the herb. I don't know. It's what I was told on my shows. Okay, so now I've never used this Cajun spice, so we're gonna go light on it because I don't know. And according to the label, it has most of the stuff we've already got in our cabinet, but it specifically said to put Cajun seasoning in there. And according to the ingredients, it says garlic, spices, including black pepper, cayenne pepper, which we already put in, oregano, which we already put in, and chili pepper, which technically, I think cayenne is pretty much a chili pepper. It's a red pepper, so. And then there's sea salt, onion, which you already saw Keith put in the onion. There's also paprika, which I have in my cupboard. And then there's red and green bell peppers in there, which he's already putting red pepper in there anyway, so it's just kind of like doing double duty. We'll just see what it does. Might just amp up the flavor to the point where we don't like it. Hope not. It's kind of looking like it. getting that redness to it. We'll give it a taste once the chicken's completely done. It's not done yet. Keith and I have always liked to cook and bake and do things together in the kitchen. And it was so much easier when we had our house back up in White Cloud before we moved down here, because it was large. And we could both be in the kitchen together and easily move around. And oh, that's kind of warm. But now I need a paper towel, please.
What are we doing?
I need a paper towel to dry this off so you can cut up the sausage. I don't know. The other little cutting board that we have isn't going to be big enough for you to cut the sausage, so you're going to have to cut it on here. Can you cut the sausage kind of on a bias for me?
Yeah.
Kind of like...
On an angle?
Yeah. Oh, yes. There's a whole bunch of liquid right there from something. Probably when I cleaned the celery, would be my guess. I'm going to take the spoon out because it's getting warm.
I'm just going to get a small knife. I don't need a
Big old knife.
monster knife.
Okay, the knife sharpener's in the drawer there. Looking like it, dear.
Yeah, we'll show you what's in the pot here in a minute.
Yeah, looking good. We'll cook our rice separate. We do prefer jasmine rice at this house. Well, the humans prefer jasmine. Our dogs actually just get long grain white rice. We cook our dog's dog food every 3 days because they're both kind of on a special diet. Because they're old and need their special needs. They have special needs. No, that was not a beer. To me, the jambalaya should have a more tomatoey base than what it was showing. So that's why I say you can doctor it any way you want. I'm going to use a spoon and test this broth to see what it's tasting like. Ooh.
What?
I think dinner's gonna be yummy.
We will try to put a link to the how to make this in the descriptions down below, but I'm not sure if I can do it because we're getting it off of Facebook, so I'll try to do it.
And we didn't follow it exactly, and I just kind of shook seasonings in and in my hand, kind of the way I think we would like it. I've been cooking for him for 18 years, so.
Cooking me 18 years.
I've been cooking for you for 18 years, so I know what you and I like.
Okay.
I met you in 2000, wasn't it?
No.
2001.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right, 17 years. I was rounding up. So. Okay, I goofed. We've been together for 17 years. Next month.
Yeah, next month.
In August.
Next month.
Yep. We actually met in September, but we got married in August of the following year. Because we met right around September 11th ordeal, remember?
Yeah.
Of 2011. Starting to get a good bubble, so we might want to, after it comes back up to temperature from the meat, we'll probably want to turn it down to a good simmer and just let it kind of cook. It's specifically called for andouille sausage, and I know jambalaya normally does. But we always, or I should say, when Keith and I would go shopping, I would look for it, and I never had much luck finding andouille sausage, so we would use smoked sausage. So probably change the taste maybe a little bit, but you use what you got. I couldn't find andouille, so it's starting to look like what it would showed on there. Now we just gotta let it simmer and come to
I'm gonna show you what it looks like inside.
build all the flavors together. It's looking yummy.
That's what it looks like. You got all your veggies, your your broth, your meat.
We will not add the shrimp until just before we serve, because shrimp you don't want to cook much more than like 5-6 minutes, because then they start getting tough.
Right.
Read the package. You're going to want to cook them whatever long it says, depending on the size of the shrimp.
And we don't like the tails on, so we always try to buy the shrimp that says peeled, deveined, and tail off. That way you don't have to dip your hands in your bowl, try to pull that little hard tail off, and then your hands are all gooped up, and then you got to mess with your silverware again. It's just a pain in the butt. We don't like it, so we always buy, no matter what we're doing, if it's Alfredo or whatever.
We make sure we spend a little bit of extra to get the tail off, because I don't want to clean them, I don't want to shell them, and I don't want to take the tails off.
Right. And the ones that we got, these are raw.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're a little gray.
When you get them as raw, they'll be gray. If they're cooked already,
they'll be pink.
They'll have a pinky color to it, pinkish color.
And you'll know that these are done when they turn pink.
Right.
They'll be pink and white.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure it says on here, for grilling it's 4 to 5 minutes, broiling's 3 to 4, boiling, which is basically what we're going to be doing here, is 2 to 3 minutes. That's our dog that just decided to learn how to bark after 14 years. Kind of a weird bark. So 2 to 3 minutes and they're done. Yes, they'll still be okay after 4 or 5 minutes, but they start getting tough and they're not as good.
And they start getting kind of rubbery.
Chewy.
Chewy.
They're more chewy. And then of course when you reheat it, it's going to be chewier, but I find with anything that has a tomatoey base is usually better the next day.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. This is kind of like when you have goulash or chili,
spaghetti,
and you have it the next day, where all the flavors have blended even more while it's been sitting in the fridge or whatever.
You can go ahead and turn that down to a nice. It's all up to temperature, it's bubbling. Almost looks like it's about ready to boil, so nice little low simmer, and we'll just let it cook.
How long?
How long to cook?
This.
It doesn't. It was in a crock pot, so I don't remember what it said on a crock pot. I'm gonna say we'll check it in about 20 minutes, and then we can actually turn it off and let it sit until we're ready.
So 20 minutes.
About 20 minutes. We'll let it cook and we'll check it out and see what it looks like. See if the chicken looks good and tender. Because the longer you cook that chicken, the tougher it's going to get too. It's rice.
So we'll see you in 20 minutes.
Hello. While I was folding some laundry, Keith was cleaning 2 quarts of strawberries for us because we're going to have some strawberry shortcake for dessert tonight. This is not what most people do, but I cheat. My husband likes these little fruit cups, and the juice works wonders in making strawberry shortcake. So whenever I make shortcake, I'll either open up a can of fruit. I really like pineapple. Like if I'm going to have, I like crushed pineapple or pineapple tidbits or something like that, I'll open up a can, put the juice in there. Keith and I, if it's a can of fruit, we'll share it. But since this is just a little one, Keith gets a bonus treat today. Can I have a towel, please? Because when I opened that, it kind of burped on me, on my thumb.
There's pineapple in this.
Yeah. Oh, there's pineapple in there, so that's good. And then, of course, you put sugar in your strawberries, and I always kind of just wing it. That's probably why I always have a bellyache afterwards, because the sugar messes with my belly. And then I use my little chopper. You can see it. And chop away. And then you let them sit with the lid on them for a while. So you're ready to, we always just let them sit on the counter. Unless it's, more than a couple hours, then I'll throw them in the refrigerator. But it kind of helps them loosen up and get juicy and the way you want your strawberries over the shortcake. And we just use frozen biscuits. And of course I have to have some of my personal favorite, Cool Whip, on top of strawberry shortcake. I can eat that stuff with a spoon out of the container, and yes, I have done that. You know those commercials and those movies where women are eating ice cream out of the container because they're boo-hooing? Well, I'll do that with Cool Whip. That'll be my boo-hoo moment if I ever have one. Okay. If you don't have one of these little choppers, actually I think it's called a dough cutter, and it's from Pampered Chef. If you don't have one, this is a stiff one. It's not the wiry one that looks like a whip, which is a pastry blender, I believe, but this is like a pastry cutter. I highly recommend getting one because it sure makes short work of chopping up strawberries. Yeah, and I think that looks good. I'm gonna get a close-up of it. Looks yummy. It'll be super great on strawberry back up. There you go.
Oh, and just in time, the timer went off for the jambalaya.
We're going to give it a whirl and see what it looks like. We did add some additional seasoning because about 10 minutes in we gave it a stir. Used a clean spoon and grabbed a little flavor, and we're like, might need a little something something. So we added a little bit more seasoning. Kind of looks good. Looks like it could use a few more minutes because the celery is not quite done yet. You can tell the onions are getting translucent, so they're done. But the celery is still kind of green, and
I don't think the peppers are quite done either.
yeah, looks like we're gonna cook it for another, let's say 10 minutes. And then we'll look at it. It's just on a real low heat. We're just letting it simmer. Basically the meat, the chicken and the sausage is pretty much done. Now we're just waiting for the vegetables to get soft and translucent. And the red bell peppers to get soft. And then it'll be completely done, and when my gang gets busy, or I should say when my gang gets ready to eat, we'll cook the rice.
So we'll see you in another 10 minutes. Well, it's done. And this is what it looks like. Try to get it over there. See how the shrimp is all cooked and shriveled? Not well. They got a little small. They're curled. and they got a little pink to them, and it's a little bit because of the juice and they actually turn pinkish. So, but this is what it looks like. Everything is all translucent and cooked. It's all nice and hot. And then you guys saw me making rice, so we're just gonna put that over top, and
we're gonna use that one for that. Use that one for that. There we go.
So dish up a bowl.
Apparently, you get to watch me dish up mine.
Yeah. Okay, everyone, dinner was good. I hope you guys, I don't know, maybe enjoyed that kind of a video. Let us know if you tried the jambalaya recipe that I'll put in the description down below. But right now, I have my strawberry shortcake that I'm going to have, and then later on get ready for work. So I hope you guys have a good week. Stay alert, stay safe, choose your spray. We'll see you later.